Hi everyone, we're going to carry on with the chapter and finish it off today. It's going to be a short episode because the chapter's nearly finished. At the end of the last chapter, or at the end of the last episode, the BFG was just about to tell Sophie how he learned how to write. "What amazes me," Sophie said, "is how you ever learned to write in the first place."
"Ah," said the BFG, "I has been wondering how long it is before you was asking me that."
"Considering you never went to school, I think it's quite marvellous," Sophie said. "How did you learn?"
The BFG crossed the cave and opened a tiny secret door in the wall. He took out a book, very old and tattered. By human standards, it was an ordinary-sized book, but it looked like a postage stamp in his huge hand. "One night," he said, "I is blowing a dream through a window, and I sees this book lying on the little boy's bedroom table. I wanted it so very badly, you understand, but I is refusing to steal it. I would never do that."
"So, how did you get it?" Sophie asked.
"I borrowed it," the BFG said, smiling a little. "Just for a short time I borrowed it."
"How long have you had it?" Sophie asked.
"Perhaps only about 80 years, the BFG said. "Soon I shall be putting it back."
"And that's how you taught yourself how to write?" Sophie asked him.
"I is reading it hundreds of times," the BFG said, "and I is still reading it and teaching new words to myself and how to write them. It is the most scrum-diddly-umptious story."
Sophie took the book out of his hand. "Nicholas Nickleby," she read aloud.
"By Dahl's chickens," the BFG said.
"By who?" Sophie said. Just then there came a tremendous noise of galloping feet from outside the cave. "What's that?" Sophie cried.
"That is all the giants zip-fizzing off to another country to guzzle human beings," the BFG said.
He quickly popped Sophie into his waistcoat pocket, then hurried to the cave entrance and rolled back the stone. Sophie, peeping out of her spy hole, saw all 9 of the fearsome giants coming past at full gallop.
"Where is you off to tonight?" shouted the BFG. "We is all of us flash bunking off to England tonight," answered the flesh lump eater as they went galloping past. "England is a luctious land, and we is fancying a few nice little English chidlers."
"I," shouted the maid masher, "is knowing where there is a giggle house for girls, and I is guzzling myself full as a froth blower."
"And I know where there's a boggle box for boys," shouted the gizzard gulper. "All I has to do is reach in and grab myself a handful. English boys is tasting extra lick squishy."
In a few seconds, the 9 galloping giants were out of sight. "What did he mean?" Sophie said, poking her head out of the pocket. "What is a giggle house for girls?"
"He is meaning a girls' school," the BFG said. "He will be eating them by the bundle."
"Oh no," cried Sophie.
"And boys from a boys' school," said the BFG.
"It mustn't happen," Sophie cried out. "We've got to stop them. We can't just sit here and do nothing."
"There's not a thing we can do," the BFG said. "We is helpless as horse feathers."
He sat down on a large craggy blue rock near the entrance to his cave. He took Sophie from his pocket and put her beside him on the rock.
"It is now quite safe for you to be outside until there is coming back," he said.
The sun had dipped below the horizon, and it was getting dark. And that's it for this chapter. The next time I see you, we're going to do The Great Plan, and we'll find out what that is. I love you lots, Paul and Tilly and Evie. See you next time. Mwah.